10 meta decks for January 2024. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Now, this is rough. I'm actually putting Centurion at number 10. And before somebody's like, oh, I'm out, you put the Calamity deck. It didn't lose anything. It didn't gain anything. We lost a lot of things along the way. And I was debating on putting something like Phantom Knight, Horus, Orcus, Pile here, but I think Centurion is probably just going to be a safer, moving on into the top pick. Obviously, when you get into the other 11 through 20, you're going to see some of these interesting changes that you're getting with this meta, or at least the expectations people are expecting. And I think that Centurion just moving up the pile kind of makes a lot more sense. Consistency. I mean, shutting down your opponent via Calamity for, kind of less interruptions in the game always seems welcoming to me. Next up is our birds. Ah, yes, Flander is back. I actually moved this one up a lot. I still don't care if the deck can't top a YCS. If I'm watching this stupid thing top 8-9 regionals out here, and it's just slightly underneath the consistency of this, but it's gatekeeping the crap out of these other decks, absolutely. Alright, M-Pen is a stupid card, and I think now that we've kind of taken away some of the deck's worst matchups, hi Unchained, how are you? I think now things are going to get way more interesting with this deck. I think that Flander, once again, people don't know how to play around things, and they get punished for it, especially in the regional level. Oh, yeah. I highly do expect Flander to kind of be one of these decks that will probably have a lot more recognition than it really deserves. So this format, I think, is going to steal some games. Next up is Dragon Link. So this is interesting because I don't know exactly where the Just a Car package is going to find itself. A few people are looking at Dragon Link right now, and they're like, hey, we're just going to drop this on into Dragon Link. We get our consistency back, and we're back off to the races. And I can agree with that. I can see a world where, Dragon Link is able to use this, but the problem is you wanted to lose to Nibiru harder. Well, this is, it's not the same format that it was back years ago when Nib was originally running around. You are definitely seeing a lot more of that power creep kind of show its face right now. So while I do think that Dragon Link still kind of remains at the table, can be 100% adjustable depending on how the meta goes, you got the fresh new shiny toy, and that means that people are going to want to mess around and explore the option of that. Next up is going to be branded. Not Chimera Illusion stuff, actual branded. I don't know how many formats this stupid deck gets the chance to sit here in top 10, but last format we were seeing that branded was gradually moving up the ladder. Alright, and for whatever reason, it went to sleep, woke up, and was like, alright, cool, we can do things again. I think, honestly, I blame Super Poly for a lot of those things. Honestly, decks committing and breaking these huge boards, though, some of these huge intimidating boards don't exactly exist anymore. We just lost Infernoble. A lot of the other top decks took some major hits. That really does kind of show. So I do think that branded could inherently fall down a little bit on this list, but for now it feels like it's a strong contender. So we're going to leave it where it actually should be. Next up is Manadium. And what did Manadium lose? Nothing. Alright, I think inherently Manadium just continues to kind of sit here and vibe with the meta. And honestly, because of that, Nibiru's, I think a lot more people are going to be siding a lot heavier for this deck, which means that it's probably going to have a lot more issues. Obviously, once more people become aware that X deck is entering into the room, more side decking becomes relevant, and of course, you start to see these decks get checked a lot harder. So, I think it only naturally makes sense to leave Manadium top 10. The deck is huge, it's explosive, the combo lines are relatively easy, your end board is very strong, you can do most of those boards relatively easily. actually, and whatever else you have for combo extenders / gas, typically is enough to put you in a good position if your board gets broken. So that's all pretty good. Labyrinth pre-Maze of Memories. Now, I do want to say, yeah, I understand with transaction rollback coming out, yeah, this deck is still going to be a monster. All right, but all of that fun stuff, for now, I think it's kind of, actually probably post-transaction rollback, I think I'd still leave it, like 5th best deck in the room right now. Yeah, transaction rollback adds a new dynamic to it for sure, but just kind of considering everything here, Labyrinth doesn't get anything unique. It just, other things in the format fell out, and inherently it just kind of moves up a little bit. Until transaction rollback comes out, the deck remains very, very much where it's been in the meta. You don't get any new tricks for the time being, but once you get rollback, once you get Buzz King, then we can discuss watching this deck elevate itself and see what more it can actually kind of do. Less back row decks in the format too, so maybe more heavy combo. Maybe this deck can kind of gauge on that and kind of see where it wants to go. Next up is Purley. So Purley did get the slap on the wrist. Let's call it what it is at this point. We're fully aware that hitting the draw package from a draw 6 down to a slightly more respectable draw 4 does inherently hurt the deck. For now, I'm leaving it in top 4. I think that, once again, this and Labyrinth can kind of interchange. You can kind of do things, but you can't really take much away from Purley at the moment because, the deck was already kind of mid as it was, and I think it was the draw package that really helped the TCG version of the deck kind of feel like it was this crazy thing. So many people were not happy with ever playing against Purley. So that the fact they're checking this and trying to find a way to bring it down was good. I just think it's still kind of cruise control. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe Purley's just absolutely destroyed at this point. Next up is Fire Kings. No bonfire just yet. Don't worry. You have 2 rounds of support to push Fire Kings up from number 3 to number 1. All right, bonfire will be a huge, huge improvement for this, but we're not at Maze just yet. You've got some time until that set actually drops, which means that you're going to be stuck in a kind of interesting format where you're going to see Fire Kings kind of trying to set up some interesting boards. It's not that this deck is inherently bad, because it's not. It's just, I think, until we start to see the consistent upgrades and people exploring how to boost this deck up, I think you're going to have some problems. But it definitely feels better than every other deck so far on this list. And I got to give it to it, Consistency. It's a heck of a thing. Must be nice. Next up is Bestial Runic. That's you're putting a light and dark control deck very high up on the list, Robbie. What's going on with this? To be honest with you, I think the deck has only gotten better. But, your value is going to depend on how much of fire is floating around you. Because if you hit those fire matchups, you're going to have a little bit more of a struggle bus time. That's for sure. But considering the fact the deck just won a YCS, many people are playing the crap out of this. A lot more eyes are going to continue to be on this. People are going to continue to explore it. New format, people are going to be like, oh, hey, it was good last format. Just go ahead and carry it on over here. So a lot of the mentalities that you kind of see with this. And I do not, and I repeat, I do not expect this deck to necessarily fall off at this point in time. So do expect Bestial Runic to be a heavy Tier 1 contender. And I left Rescue Ace on the top of the totem pole right now. I understand that the hit to the deck was a huge consistency hit. Oh boy, back to 3 Hydrant we go. Ooh. I think pre-Maze, though, that the deck still feels stupid strong. I think a lot of people are going to underestimate the deck, and that's fine. If people want to take the chance and be like, it's just Rescue Ace, and set 4 happens, you're just like, I lose to this. And that's underestimating the meta, getting caught with your pants down. It happens. So what do you think? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.